top line of page Lamed Beis. And we had discussed this morning the rich principle involved in what the Rebbe is saying. Let me just read the top line again. Ve-im-kol-zeh, despite all of this is referring to the fact that the oires relative to the kelim are totally without any limits, any tangible presence, or any definitive presence. Nonetheless, hein oires ve-sphirot mamash. They are oires of sphirot. In other words, they are not what we call neutral oires without any design. There is definitely in oir inherent the inyan from sphirot. The hainu, which means to say, shegam beho-oiros yesh sphirot mamash. That in the oires too, there is the element of sphirot mamash. And he's explained what's mamash, what is the emphasis of mamash. Not sphirot potentially, that if the oil will be mislabish in the keli, then the keli will reveal and create an inyan from sphirot. But in the oil itself, there is literally the inyan from sphirot, inherent in the oil. And that is almost challenging. How can you say the two things in the same breath? On the one hand, it's bli ma. There isn't not a mitzias, and it's pshitus, because the oil is always reflective of the shorish u'mokir, of the etzem, and yet at the same time there's sphirot mamush. So that remains the challenge to try to get into it and try to understand. But that is the principle. And why do we say? What makes us say that there is oil in the oil as sphirot mamash? It is due to the fact that the Zohar says, "Achlif duchtayu," that there is such a thing as the oiros changing their positions. Achlif, they interchange their places. Oil hachesed b'kli hagvura, oil hagvura b'kli hachesed. If the oil does not possess any kind of a definition, how can you call it oil hachesed if it is in kli hagvura? Which tells you, by the way, that no, in the oil itself there is the element that defines it as oil hachesed neir hagvura. So how does that stand in the face of saying that no, oils are completely reflective of the etzem, of the shorish u'mokir? So the explanation is, this is very brief, v'shayochim, and they are related, the sphirot are related, are possible only b'bchinas hakav v'chut, only in the bechina of the kav v'chut. Kav v'chut, this is the focused beam of light, as we have referred to it. After the tzimtzum, where the essential light has been retracted, and then there is what's called a focused beam of light, a kav, and that is, this kav is drawn from the original oir, but now it comes in the form of a kav, not oir as a presence, as a total presence, but oir as it comes in the form of a beam. Hanimshach miyoirin soy boru. This oil, this kavachut, it's still reflective of the oil in soif, but this is the kavachut hanimshach, that is drawn from the Ein Sof, this is not the presence of the Ein Sof itself. This is the Kav HaChut that's drawn from it. And being that it is drawn from it, this is why it is possible there to speak of Esas Sphirot.
But on the other hand, in the Ein Sof, before the Tzimtzum and before the Kav, it's not possible to speak of spheres.
Well, so far.
When you said this morning the significance of Nimshach, that it's Nimshach.
Yeah, I'm not finished with that yet. I'm not finished with that.
Okay, fine.
But the emphasis over here is that this is the oil Kav HaChut ha-nimshach me'Ein Sof. It is nimshach means it's drawn from it. It is drawn from the Ein Sof, but it's not the presence of Ein Sof itself. Because there was a tzimtzum, the Ein Sof was retracted. When the oil is reintroduced, it does not nullify the tzimtzum. It breaks through the tzimtzum and brings the original oil through the tzimtzum, but the tzimtzum stays in place. Therefore, the oil that comes is an oil that does not that can cooperate with the tzimtzum. And the pshat is in essence, in general, there's a tzimtzum, and then there is also a beam of light that breaks through it. So I thought, how do we get a little bit of a sense? How do we relate to this, especially oil in soif, oil hanimshach me'Ein Sof? If it's oil in soif, as we spoke this morning, oil in soif, we spoke many times. Oil in soif is referring to not something infinite by measure, by content. It has an infinite quantity of something. It is infinite in essence. What is nimshach from Ein Sof? What does it mean, nimshach from Ein Sof? How is a Kav HaChut, how is a beam nimshach from Ein Sof? If it is nimshach from Ein Sof, so how is it representative of the Ein Sof? It's no longer Ein Sof. Clearly, I'd like you to understand, when we say the term that nimshach me'Ein Sof, does not mean that Ein Sof is some kind of a distant source, a resource, but then it becomes retranslated and it's no longer Ein Sof. No, nimshach me'Ein Sof means it is nimshach, and it is nimshach from Ein Sof. It is Ein Sof in a hamshocha form. That is the correct way of putting it. It is Ein Sof in hamshocha form, in hamshocha, nimshach me'Ein Sof. Otherwise, it's not Ein Sof. If it's a distant resource, it's not nothing to do with Ein Sof. Doesn't change at all what's nimshach. So this morning, we made the following point. We said that, coming back to our moshel, the moshel of the host and the guest, where the guest benefits and wants exclusively the host, does not want to have anything that's drawn from the host, from the source. He wants the host, the oil of the host itself. If the host moves away and again gives him all his riches, that's not what this is all about. So we said an interesting thing. And I'd like to develop this further. We said, if the guest is in the presence of the host, and the host is with him, there's a phenomenal significance, difference whether the host in that presence, in that time, is looking at the guest or is looking away from him. He may be present, but he's occupied he's not looking at him. So his presence per se does not give the guest that which he's looking for to get from the guest, from the host.
It's not sufficient.
Right. It's not right. It doesn't. How do you define this looking, this actual looking at him? This looking at him, this is like the intent. Looking is representing the rotzui. The intent that he's focused on him. This is like a focus, and the focus comes from the essence of the host, of the rotzui. He wants him, and that's why he's looking at him. That's what this source of das hashpah. In other words, this look is a hamshocha of the host in a hamshocha form. Because this look is not just a scrutinous look. It's scrutinizing him to see what he needs. Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Are you cold? This is not what this look is all about. This look is a direct connect of the host to the guest. The look is representing the connection and the interest of the host in the guest. And this interest is not based on any kind of a definitive quality. In other words, are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Are you smart? Are you stupid? This is not what this is about. This is entity to entity interest, connection. So although they're next to each other, that close proximity does not automatically transmit anything from one to the other. Because should the host look away from him, then this proximity doesn't do anything. The Alter Rebbe says an interesting thing in Tanya, that if one stands next to the other, but he turns away from him because he doesn't want to look at him, that's the most distant kind of a relationship there is. If he's not there, he's not there. But if he's there and he turns away from him, that's the furthest thing they can be. And yet, when he turns around and he looks at him, he's giving him of his essence. Of his essence. It's a hamshocha from the essence. In this hamshocha of the essence comes through all the oiros that are inherent in the essence. Let us go back to this man in the gutter. That we have recognized that this man in the gutter remains a human being, despite his protestations that he's not interested. In reality, in essence, he still craves for a human life and human expression. What type of expression is he craving for? Okay, think with me. Is he thinking of Chochmah? Is he thinking of Bina? Is he thinking of Das? Is he thinking of Chesed? Of Gvura Tiferes? What is he thinking of? He's clearly thinking of some kind of an expression. Because as a human being, he is a human being. In the gutter is also a human being. But he craves to be out of that gutter. He craves to express himself as a human being. What kind of expression is he craving for? The answer is all of the above. In the gutter, he is craving to be sitting at a normal table amongst normal people and conversing in a normal way about all things important to human beings. Although he's totally uninvolved in this, so this is not due to some kind of a solicitation from the Kalim, some kind of a response to a need. This is his own projection of his own essence, of his own soul. This is what we're saying here. That when we talk about after the tzimtzum, when the essence is concealed, and it is something that's nimshach me'yerin soif. In this hamshocha, there's 10 sphirot. All the full complement of a full true expression, which consists of Chochmah, Bina, and Das, and so forth. So if we understand this, have one more notch to add to this perception here.
Something before you go on?
Yes, go ahead.
What is the milah of this hamshacha that is we're stressing here that it has all 10 spheres, as opposed to I think Yehuda asked something like this morning, as opposed to the presence of the etzem itself. Is the point here that you can't really get the etzem of the host. You can't really get Ayin Seif Lifnei HaTzimtzum. But this,
Well, wait a second. Hold on. Not getting is really a chitzonic thing from there. There is not. After the Tzimtzum, there is not the essence. It retracted everything itself to itself, into itself.
what is the mila that you're getting the Hamshacha?
The Hamshacha is a Hamshacha from the essence.
Shach is what?
The Hamshacha is a Hamshacha from the essence, from Ayin Seif. It's a phenomenal thing, it's tremendous. It's a Hamshacha representing the Ayin Seif. This is why this Hamshacha has all the 10 sphirot. What? Go ahead.
Why is and why the emphasis on there are all 10 spheres there? This is to confirm that this is actually Hamshacha of Ayin Seif?
Yeah. Since this is Hamshacha of Ayin Seif, then the full complement of the Ayin Seif is represented there.
And these 10 spheres, there's a little bit of a, maybe you already spoke about it, these 10 spheres are representing the full complement of the Ayin Seif.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the Ayin Seif contains.
Well, we have to be very cautious how we relate it to the Ayin Seif. Because Ayin Seif itself,
I understand, that's why I'm asking.
Ayin Seif itself does not consist of 10 spheres. It's Poshut, it's Brima.
Right.
But when there is a Hamshacha from the Ayin Seif, which means the Ayin Seif, like I said, the host looks at the guest. This is like a Hamshacha. Then there are 10 spheres.
Why do these 10 spheres suddenly appear at that point?
Well, your question is why 10 spheres, why spheres altogether?
The latter.
Because the host is retracted into himself. And his only connection with the guest is by intent, by looking at him. But it's the host looking at him, not, I said he's not looking at him from a scrutinous perspective.
His look is itself a bestowal.
That's right. It's a bestowal, it's a hamshacha from himself.
This is like what people experience when the Rebbe looks at them.
Correct.
And so what is the new emphasis here in this beginning of this new paragraph?
The principle that there is sphirot in the oiris.
In other words, having said that the oiris are so high above anything like Kalim, nevertheless, there are 10 spheres in the oiris.
Right. But shayochin, but that is possible to refer to b'bchinas hakav v'chut hanimshach me'ein sabor. But here we have to understand correctly this expression nimshach ma'ir soif, as I said before, nimshach ma'ir soif does not mean from the resource that's called Eir soif, but it means from the essence of the Eir soif.
What's the difference in you're emphasizing? And Ayin soif is not a resource.
Right. Like I said, when you talk about the host looking at the guest, what is the difference with the host gives him everything that he needs, but he does not look at him, or he looks at him?
Say that the look represents that he cares about him.
But who cares about him?
The host.
Which part of the host?
When you look, what?
Which part of the host?
Not the part that serves him the food.
Not the part that gets emotionally entangled in that.
Mm.
The part where the host is himself, and from there he's looking at him. And this look is a full-fledged look of the host. It's a hamshocha of the host, but within this hamshocha, within this look, is nimshach, the sphirot qualities, sphirot elements. Effectively, I don't know if I have to go that far, but I just want to give us a little bit of a. This look is a look, and you said, that represents the rotzin, the connect. This rotzin expresses more than what I'm going to say, but we are trying to identify is what we're going to say now. This rotzin expresses, I appreciate you from chokhmah perspective, from bina perspective, from das perspective, and from all the midas perspective, all the way down to malchus. This is what this look represents. It's an unrestrained connect.
I appreciate you from my chokhmah perspective, bina perspective, etc.
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly what that means.
Okay, so leave it alone then.
I don't want to leave it alone. I want to be able to understand it.
What did we say the other day? What was the expression we used? Sweat a bit. I know you were, I don't want to tell you sweat because you'll start changing all your clothes.
Right about that.
All right, here's a means of which you can begin to relate to this. We're talking about the whole time about the host and the guest relationship. This relationship exists in two circumstances, in two situations. We said the other day, one is invited to a wedding, to a simcha. He's an invited guest at the wedding. That's one situation where the guest is a guest by the host. He is completely contained within the host's domain. Wherever he looks, he sees the host. This is the host's simcha, and he is there because the host invited him. In that situation, there is a transmission, a connection between the host and the guest in a broader fashion than the host looking at the guest. The very presence of the host already represents that relationship. Doesn't have to look at every guest individually. This is his simcha. This is his place. And you're invited to be here. You are benefiting from being with him just by being there with him. In that case, this interaction, this relationship, cannot be identified from 10 spheros perspective. This does not come in the form of a beam. This is the full presence of the host. There you cannot speak of 10 spheros. Do I have you with me so far? Hello?
This is higher than that?
Yes.
Be a guest at the wedding is higher than to be invited to the host's home and have the host look at you.
No, to be the host, to host, yeah, to be, that's right.
To be the bring-in.
Or the host coming to visit you in your home.
The higher thing is the wedding where everybody is included.
Higher thing is, is that wherever you are in that environment, the host is present there. Host is not present only when he looks at you.
Yeah.
Because you are within the domain of the host. Let me answer. Are we together? And, who's the host and who's the guest here? You're out. You're out.
I'm trying to follow. I'm not sure I'm getting.
I told you this morning, don't try to follow. Try to understand each phrase in its own place.
Being in the home also has that effect of this.
Yeah,
No?
being in host home it has to be properly identified. Depends what you're there for. You know, I told you the
Looking
story,
in the
huh?
fridge. Looking in the fridge. It's not.
Huh?
Not looking in the fridge.
Not looking in the fridge, right? Yeah, I told you there was this villager who came from Petersburg to his little village, and he said, "The Tsar spoke to me." The whole village went afire. They came running in. "What did the Tsar say to you?" "The Tsar said to me, 'Get out of here.'" Pashol Vom. You know what Pashol Vom? Go to hell, right? What does Pashol Vom mean?
No, get out.
Get out of here. I don't know what Vom means.
One means out.
Out.
So okay, this. What's this showing on?
Huh?
What the story showing on?
Is this correct, saying that this is the Tsar spoke to him? No. Okay, Baruch Hashem. Do we understand the difference? All present and all on the phone. Do we understand the difference between being a guest by the host in a host domain, or being a guest by the host for a specific purpose? Yes, indeed. I invited you for lunch.
In his domain means being together in his house versus.
The domain means celebrating together with him.
In your sim, it's like a whole thing
His
is-
wedding, his simcha.
Okay, as opposed to.
As opposed to, I'm inviting you to give you lunch.
Because the simcha is attached to who the host is in his essence. Is that the difference? Like what's?
Because it's not important. Do we see the difference? That's all of it. Because this is where we got lost. We don't have the capacity yet to analyze it. But we have to see different, yes. So when you are invited to the host's personal celebration, you are in the host domain by participating in his celebration, by being with him. There, your relationship with him is not a hamshocha type of relationship. It is being in his domain.
In other words, you don't need any hamshocha then.
You don't need a hamshocha, and therefore it's not. There's no spheros. There's no means by which it is being transmitted. It's above spheros. But when you are invited for a specific purpose, particularly if you're invited because the host wants to bestow, make sure, give you, inviting you to join me at lunch. That is not a host's own celebration. There, it makes a big difference whether the host is looking at you or the host is busy in his own thing.
It's like to say that at lunch he is not all present.
Right, it's not, you don't have his whole, you're not in his domain. And he is giving you of himself when he looks at you. And in that look, what are the means by which he is giving himself to you? He's not giving himself. He's giving hamshocha. The means of which hamshocha comes is through chokhmah, bina, das, and terminus. That is a separate thing to discuss with 10 sphirot, but we understand that in that look there are individual qualities.
Why? Why not just him himself?
Because it comes to some kind of an action. If it's he himself, why does he have to do anything? He's present.
Saying on account
It's called the hamshocha.
On account of it being an action that implies all
Nothing
10
doesn't imply.
elements.
It doesn't imply. Action means that there is an activity about it. There are details in an action.
Mm-hmm. They're details.
There's a content. There's a composition.
Oh. I'm thinking of so it was one of the Rebbeim with Zaidi.
Just one second. Let's go back for a second. This action. This is where the big pitfall. This action is not limited to one sphirot or another. This action is, and you said, it's representing the host himself, the whole host.
That means it has
To one
10.
to one what or another?
To one quality, to one type of activity, to another. It is the entire host.
Indicating him. It's indicating so it's all 10.
It's all. Oh, that's why he says it's all 10.
But it has to be the 10.
Yeah, but it has to be a composition, but the composition is 10, all 10, because the composition is not being composed as composition, it's composed by giving the whole thing, by giving himself.
What is the exchange? Was the Rebbe and his grandchild, and he was leaving. They were calling each other. Is it? And he calls them. He says, that's, you know, the exchange. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it seems to show on that seems to show on some kind of presence beyond action, beyond 10. But no, I guess
No. Let me explain to you what that is. This also be said that the look from the host to the guest, this look is not a look of scrutiny. This look is a connecting look. A connecting look is sourced in the fact of the rotzen. I want to be connected to you. I want you. This rotzen is really higher than 10 spheres.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rotzen is the source of 10 spheres.
That's nimshach with it.
And from that is nimshach the 10 spheres.
So the motivation is, the origin is this
The
ratzon.
rotzen.
And we can't say the look itself is ratzon per se, it has to be this 10.
The rotzen, it is rotzen per se.
It is.
but it's still a hamshocha. It's an active rotzen. It's not the rotzen, like I said, when he is himself present.
Not
like if you were in his domain, by a chassid, like I said. Then it's not a different rotzen. Here, you have that only when he looks at you. When he's not looking at you, you don't have it.
So, like, it's not makif, it's some kind of hamshacha, and therefore it's meant by necessity. It is composed of 10. It has
That's
the
right.
full complement of
That's
10.
Right. It's an imshach. It comes in the for a certain. It comes to you, rather than being encompassing of you.
It comes to you, and that also indicates certain distinct qualities, namely these 10.
Yeah, that's what coming to you is always in these 10 qualities, because that's how things are transmitted.
Right. Otherwise, it would be over your head, or it would be makif.
What does this mean in the nimshol, the kav chut, that AyinBase is coming to the world?
Right. That's exactly what it means. There was a hamshacha, and we said a reintroduction of the AyinBase after the tzimtzum in the form of a kav chut. In form of a hamshacha. So even though it is the introduction of the AyinBase, but it's an introduction of AyinBase in a hamshacha form. The tzimtzum remains intact.
Well, what's that last point? Like, it does not nullify the tzimtzum.
It remains that the AyinBase or the atzem is concealed, and there is a hamshacha from there, a gilui from there.
Like the look.
Like the look.
And the host is like remaining, he's welcoming you, but he remains unto himself.
Right. So the important thing, before we finish, we got to this point, I'd like you to understand what's so significant about this. Oir, as we spoke all along, oir and keli. Keli is something which is a created entity. Oir is the oir of the reality itself. The oir of the reality itself. Of the source, of the etzem. So if we should translate this on the human level, in the human terms, we say a human being has 10 spheres, 10 koiches, chochma, bina, das, and all other midas. These 10 koiches are necessary for him to function in the world. In order for him to act and to live like a human being and to understand the world around him, he has to have these 10 koiches. But that is on the keli level. This is not the inherent intelligence of the human being. Like we said before, okay? Please. The man in the gutter is craving to be a human being. And this crave has sensed all the various forms of activity that a human being can have. Because all of them are real to the human being. None of them are functional for one purpose or another. I have to be able to eat, so I'm be healthy, or to walk so I can get around. They're real qualities, human qualities. Each one identifies him as being a human being, a full human being. This is the meaning that the sphirot are part of the oil. Because